All right, well, let's dive in. Everybody should have their episode. I would say the best way to do this, I've said it before, is start your episode and then just pause it immediately. Because if we press our play buttons at the same time, and you're still in the Netflix menu, there's going to be this like loading thing happening for a second, and everybody's just going to load a little differently. But if you press play, get into the episode, and then press it immediately, like stop it at the 0-second mark, when we all press our play buttons, we'll all be. I mean, it's so basic. It's so simple. I mean, it doesn't require any technology. It's like human behavior at its absolute pinnacle. So if everybody's ready to go, I've got my episode paused. I can see Luke coming around the side of the counter with a plate of something. I am not recording. Let me get my recorder on. I forgot about that because I'm not doing Instagram.
I'm recording.
So let me get
I am too, but I just know he like.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. Thank you. All right. I am recording. All right, everybody. If you are new,
I'm so excited.
if you've been here before, you know what we're doing next. If you're new, grab that remote, hold it, get that trigger thumb on the play button, but don't press it, because we're going to press it at the same time together on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Yay.
She just closed the door on those people that were coming in behind.
Yup.
No bacon. That's a crime.
By the way, I took that test today. I am a Lorelei. How am I a Lorelei?
Yes.
Yeah,
you
I
totally
have no idea how I
Or are
came
you
out.
not?
What test?
A Gilmore, like one of those Gilmore Facebook Gilmore quizzes.
I really want to take this test.
Oh, I will send it to you. Don't.
Who do you most identify with, John, if not Lorelai?
It's a good question.
Kirk and his juice cleanse.
I got a good mix of Emily
Kirk and
and
his
Lane.
juice cleanse.
I always get Lane when I take, I think it's psychometrics quiz. I always get Lane.
Uh-oh.
She's not keeping things from him anymore.
Have we discussed his like complete on Christopher since just like discovering he has a gift?
Say that again, Sarah.
I've been like not around so much the last couple of nights, and was wondering if we discussed his like about face on Christopher since April show.
Yes. Most people are kind of the standpoint of, well, not most, but a lot of people are kind of like, it's so out of character. It feels like it's like the writing's really weird. I'm in the camp of it seems natural that he's kind of like this huge thing in his life would completely just shift his entire personality.
Yeah, I agree.
Whenever I see Lane's ad, I feel like it should have the meatball explosion on it. From the first band ad that they
It sucks that she has to get the information secondhand from Lane.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. Oh my god, there's peach shampoo.
So Devin, do you remember a lot about?
Are we skipping the intro?
Episode?
I've got
No, we watch it.
No, we never skipped the intro.
Oh, I almost messed up, you guys.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we never.
You know, that's actually good. I should probably remember to put that into my preamble because, yeah, I mean, sometimes, Devin, we just get inspired and we all decide that we want to sing it,
And we sing it off key.
and it's absolutely horrible because all
What are you
of our
talking
TVs
about?
are
We're
they're
saying
all
beautiful.
slightly off, so it just has this just like cacophony of.
Well, the good news is you've told me that you record these, so I can now go back and listen to you singing to these.
Oh yeah,
And I'm
sure.
looking forward to that.
I could send you those.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, if we skipped it, it would just be another point of entry and we would be all out of sync again.
Yeah, makes sense.
Look whose name that
There's
was.
your name.
Woot woot.
Your names were next to each other, John and
I
Deb.
Am I in this episode?
Did I just see?
Yeah,
Leslie
it was right
Odom?
before
Yes, you are.
Really?
We shouldn't have told you.
Yeah.
We could have been
Yeah,
surprised.
What episode is this?
Right.
The
Anything
aggressive
you
not making eye contact is just hilarious.
Revisited. That's what it is.
Uh-huh.
Bridesmaids revisited.
What's up with that tiny little sweater?
Try sleeping with her. Oh, Doyle.
That was the tiny sweaters were all the rage. You could see her
What's the
without a half of a
style?
sweater.
So again, I'll point out that Doyle is here now, but when Harris was like spinning off into oblivion, he was absent.
Yeah,
She may have
conveniently.
banished him.
Yeah, conveniently not there. That was weird.
She may have banished him though, thinking that he might overshadow her.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because when Rory and Paris started on the Yale Daily News and Doyle was the editor, he was kind of striking terror into everyone's heart. Now he's kind of, seems a lot more humble. It's kind of interesting.
Poor Doyle.
A job that Kirk doesn't have.
Wait a second. That guy
Tangerine
Joel
Man
is
is
back.
back.
He's back.
There he is.
Uh-huh.
Zach needed
See,
an
I had no
friend.
idea that it was. I had no idea.
Because
I
his
love
son-
Joel.
his mom. He had to wake his mom up to listen.
This is my favorite Joel scene.
Yeah.
Man, I really thought. I assumed that Joel only had that last episode. I had no idea he was in any more of the series.
He is not a one-hit wonder.
You
John,
said
I
that
think
in the
this is
last.
Holler Back Girl.
Oh.
Honor is so demanding.
Well, some things
It's her day. She can do whatever she wants.
absolutely.
Hope Logan brushes his hair.
Yeah, the hair is really a little.
I don't think Logan has the worst hair in this episode.
Who does that?
Me.
Oh, you didn't like the big poofy hair?
Oh, that I was actually reading that online. That the poofy hair is sort of a big thing in the fandom.
Oh, really?
Yes. I don't know if it's a big thing in the fandom, but I was like trying to find a picture to post for social, and then I came across that, just somebody talking about like the.
Yeah, somebody called it a fright wig.
By the way, all of you, I predicted that there was going to be a wedding this episode, and you all totally threw me off. You all said that it wasn't going to happen.
What about
No shit,
Bridesmaids
no
with Big
spoilers.
Hughes?
No
Just
idea what
no
you're
spoilers,
talking about.
kidding.
For the record, they're
Hey, look at that.
Oh,
Come on now.
Oh, I love this moment.
So romantic.
That was
It really
nice.
was. It was so good.
Team Logan, right?
Always and forever.
Team Logan.
I don't know if I'd say I'm Team Logan. I'm not really sure if I have a team anymore, but I do like Logan a heck of a lot more than I did in the beginning.
where's Coral with Team Single?
So there's someone at the table in this scene that is very, very exciting.
Yup.
Yep. One of the panelists.
My friend Jessica wants me to let you know that she's Team Logan as well.
Jessica is a genius.
I agree. She also helped you at the virtual fan fest last year as well.
Oh, lovely.
Puppy.
Rory looks so grown up.
Oh my goodness. I love Milk Duds. See, now I'm starting to see all of the things that Lorelai and I have in common.
I was gonna say it totally tracks.
I'm sure the quiz took into consideration.
Leslie.
There's Leslie Odom Jr.
Aaron Burr.
Honestly, that is my claim to fame, that I was in an episode with him.
He was in an episode with you.
Also
Yes.
true, yes. Very true.
Yes.
He even talks in the same like
What
kind
what
of
has
rap.
what has that guy gone on to do?
Nothing much.
Absolutely nothing.
Not a whole
I don't
lot.
know. He's a husband now. I don't know.
If only he could sing.
Yeah, if that guy could
Right.
learn how to sing, I bet he
Yeah.
could get some small little off-Broadway thing or something.
Right, right.
His
I
career
know.
didn't really take off.
So sad for him.
It totally
I
was not
believe
in
it
anything
until I
that
see
I
him
listened to
dance.
on repeat for 3 years.
Go Rory, man. Yay.
Now I want an ice cream soda.
I want ice cream for sure after that.
Love Breakfast Club.
Me too. I only saw it when I was a senior in high school, though.
Love it.
John, you should do a Breakfast Club one.
Ooh, I'd watch Breakfast Club one.
I'd watch it every 5 seconds with you. Stop it. Repeat. Repeat.
This is kind of interesting.
It's very nice of Lorelai. Like, she's been a single parent. She knows.
Yeah. But also I think that within like the context of the whole thing that's going on with April and Luke, I think that that's also
Here it
kind of an
is.
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's time.
Shout out to Regina, because this is her.
Yep. I will have the song in my head all night now.
Go
Me
Gil.
too.
Go Gil. Check out that head bobbing you got going on there.
Oh, this
And
is
that bass
amazing.
line, that little bass thing that I did, I actually practiced that to like make it really. I mean, I'm not playing, but it looked good.
It looks natural. Yeah,
Looks
you
really
did-
good, John.
Yeah.
And that
I buy it.
that head nod. I'm feeling that head nod, John.
Yeah, I mean,
You
all
did.
of that stuff. Like, I mean, I'm not, just so you know, Devin, I do not play the bass guitar. I never played a single thing on the show, but
You are shattering my illusions.
Is this
Right.
framing on
it's my
purpose?
shit. It's my shiz, by the way. That's what we had to say. It's my shiz.
Did you see Brian give Zach the looks that could kill for a second?
I was gonna say the same.
Yeah.
That was a good death stare.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good death stare.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I can't believe he said guys get turned on to that to like a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
Sebastian.
that didn't age
So
well.
inappropriate.
That did not age well. No.
Sebastian Bach loved doing this scene. I mean, he just loved that hollaback. Like I feel like he got into actually, like, I feel like he didn't even get into it like for the humor of it. I think he was really into the actual performance.
Cool. It seemed it. So
Gwen
wouldn't
Stefani
surprise-
fan.
Nerd makeup words. Look at him sweet talking Brian.
And look at Brian perk up.
Brian is way back in.
Figure out all his specials. This is ridiculous.
All of a sudden in my head, I have the Blues Brothers. Let's get the band back.
Brokeback Mountain on you. Oh, Zach.
I remember when
Oh,
they
this
were shooting that. That
disgusts
kid had to eat those cherries over and over again.
He was method
Also-
acting.
Also, like
He must have
30
puked.
30 kids had to audition eating a whole thing of cherries.
My God.
So, by the way, Devin, there's something that we found out early. Well, in this, we had an event where we brought some of them folks who worked on the music on the show,
Mhm.
and this particular song was the most expensive song in the entire series for them to get the licensing. Not this, but Hollaback Girl.
Oh, I was like, I'm gonna.
Yeah, not this one. Sorry. Sorry. That one likely cost them nothing. But no, Hollaback Girl was super expensive, and apparently, like Amy was just like absolutely dead set, like we are getting that.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, she was right.
Fortnite. Oh, wow.
Wow, look who's there.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
There you are.
Oh God.
Did you get to keep that? Those sweat?
Devin, you've got the speed. You've got the vocal speed down.
Yep. Yeah.
You are a Gilmore.
Do you know that's why I wanted to do this show, and I was too fast. They had to keep slowing me down. What?
Really?
Was I on? Yeah.
That's
One
impressive.
of the bridesmaids was from a debutante when Rory came out. That's
Yeah,
what's
Yeah,
The
Walker, I believe.
The pink sweats.
And she
Yeah.
did Timeless.
And she's drinking in this one too.
Those boots.
Yeah, I love those boots.
This is the most comfy outfit ever, obviously.
I love Rory's dress.
I don't. I think they could have given her a much more flattering dress.
Oh, I think it's beautiful.
You talk about Rory's dress?
Yeah.
Rory's
Yeah, I
dress
think it could
is
be much more
beautiful.
flattering.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I like it.
I was impressed at the level at which Alexis did not give a shit about the dress. She just like sat around in it and tripped on it. And I was like, cool.
That sounds like
Love
Alexis.
That sounds like her. Yeah, I love that.
So
Is that
Devin,
is that a big
still
is that a
talk to
really
me
big
as the-
dress? Like is that dress an important dress? Is it like by an important designer?
It's Vera Wang, and she said it's Vera's and somebody, and but it was just too long for her, and she didn't complain. She just like shuffled around and tried not to fall down, and like I just thought it was. I remember her dress a lot from shooting that day.
And do you think it was an authentic Vera Wang? You said.
I have no idea.
I bet it was.
I'm going to go with yes because there's a lot of people who would care, and no.
Yes. Where is Valerie when we need her?
Yeah, Val would know.
Oh, we haven't
Yeah, where
seen
is
Val
that?
in a while.
She's got better things to do. Outrageous.
Disgusting.
I like Lorelai's hair.
It's those curls again.
Yeah, it's just a natural thing. I like the natural thing.
My daughter had the same sweater that Gigi's wearing.
You look so pretty, Devin.
Thank you.
I
Did
love
you like
this freak
Honor's
out.
dress?
Did I like Honor's bangs?
No,
Dress,
her
I
dress. Her dress.
Oh, I did actually. I did.
Big design.
Honor's bangs are big.
Yes, they are.
Honor's bangs are enormous, but the dress was good, and that's lucky because wedding dresses come in various shades of horror. But yeah,
And no, that dress looks good.
yeah, I liked it.
I loved her freak out as well. It was great.
Do you remember who designed it?
I'm pretty sure it's not a name, that it was like a downtown LA bridal store that they just walked in and pulled it off the rack. But it's very successful. Yeah, I think it looks great.
Yeah, it does.
Is
Yeah,
it
that's
one of
very
Edward
pretty.
Herman's daughters in this
Yes,
scene?
Yes.
Yep, that was just her.
Which one is Ed's daughter?
Ed's daughter's in this game?
Yeah, the
Yeah, the
one
one
who's
that-
kind of redheadish.
The one with her back to us.
The one that said that the ambassador is handsy.
She's the tallest one. That one.
With the bob.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
really tall one. Oh, boy.
Oops.
Uh-oh.
Oh, whoa.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yep.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
All right. So
problematic-
this is the,
Problematic for many
okay. So
reasons.
this is the thing that the fandom likes to obsess about. I got it.
One of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we will talk about it.
Oh, we
will.
will.
We'll try our we'll try our best not to obsess too much about it, but it is juicy and definitely something to.
My heart just sinks for Rory. I just feel so bad for her having to hear all that.
Oh,
news.
can you imagine how heartsick you would be
I
hearing
know,
that?
poor thing.
Just the
Ugh.
look on her face
Oh, her
and
face.
the posture. No, look at the posture. She's all slumpy.
She's completely and utterly blindsided.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Oh, I can't even words her face.
My heart hurts for her. That's for sure.
Rachel just posted some pictures in the Facebook group of her friends and her at FanFest. They dressed up as the bridal party in their sweats.
Oh my gosh, how fun, Rachel.
That's amazing. They must be so comfortable.
They look great.
Bratty Gigi.
I
Oh
give
my
Lorelai
gosh,
so
Gigi.
much,
Oh,
so many
Lord.
props for this.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh no.
Absolutely terrible.
Just
I
great.
wanna lock her in a
This always sets my skin off. Funny.
I
It
wouldn't
just
be able
makes
to
me feel horrible.
Ouch. Ouch.
I mean, that's a very good child actress to be able to make such a horrific noise on demand.
Yep.
That must have been part of her audition.
Do you think they?
Oh yeah, so
insisted-
like 20 little girls had to do that in auditions too.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to revise my theory that I came up with yesterday about the ending of this.
Devin, he makes predictions and we don't tell him if he's right or.
It's really fun.
Ooh.
And
I have
sometimes
lots of
he puts
theories.
kernels on it.
How often is he right?
I would say
So
like
often.
75% of
Too
the time.
Very
Too
often.
often. Too often for a guy who's not supposed to know what's happening.
I mean, he built that app. He's obviously smart.
He correctly predicted that Rory would get arrested.
What?
It's this whole were they on a break thing?
Yep, this is the debating thing. Were they broken up? Were they not broken up? How did he understand it?
We were on a break.
It's Ross and Rachel 2.0.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what I was getting at.
Man. This is interesting.
And he's blaming the bridesmaids.
Well, this show it wasn't made in 2021.
Yeah. Whoa. And this is a good episode.
I love the B12 shot.
Yeah, right.
The B12 was great. Yeah.
What is Kirk doing with all that juice?
He's on a juice cleanse.
Yeah. He's
Oh,
doing
that's right. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, I forgot
But
about
he's
this.
cheating it.
Remembered it. Oh God. Okay.
Wait a second. What's happening here?
Pay
That's
attention.
a parallel to when they run out of coffee at the inn and Lorelai is going to drink coffee, the dregs of the coffee from the
Zach has a blazer on.
Will Hep Bailey get back together or not?
Wait a second. Wait a second. What's happening?
You good, John?
Off.
You good, John?
Declarations of love.
To be fair, it's declarations of not feeling good.
God, Luke.
Ooh, what's happening here?
Oh,
Yes!
They're burning
Whoa!
down.
You wanted a wedding.
I did not know where that happened. I had no idea where that happened.
I'm so happy.
There's a ring.
Check out Babette. She's checking out the ring.
She is so cute. She's adorable. Who could her?
I love this one.
Oh,
She's so happy.
Aww.
Babette and the kissing.
God, I love that.
Sugar.
I love that moment. So
I didn't
much.
realize that that happened in this episode. I didn't really know how it got to that story.
John, clearly you didn't watch my biggest episode enough.
I really didn't. No. I'll put it the way you did. Life got in the way.
She's so happy and
I love
floaty
this.
and
So cute with the
jiggly. So
toaster.
cute with the toaster.
So wait a
I
second.
love
For
it.
everybody who is
following
like
her.
so for everyone who does not like the Zach and Lane relationship, I mean, come on. That
That's
was
still
pretty
cute.
wonderful.
That's still
That was
cute.
pretty wonderful, right?
Who doesn't like
100%.
Zach and Lane
I
together?
like the two of them
Where
together.
have I been?
Me too.
It's the Dave fans. We like Dave better.
But that was cute.
Whoa.
Yeah, no. Sorry, Chris.
That I have a little problem with what Lorelai is doing here right now.
You're not relating to Lorelai at this moment?
I'm not.
I don't like how she's handling it, but I don't like how he's handling it either.
Yeah.
Well, He's
Yeah,
talking
I
to
don't
her
like
like
how
she
he's
hasn't
handling
had
it,
a kid.
but I just have a problem with the like her putting her own experience on raising her kid on his. Oh my goodness.
Methinks thou dost protest too much. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes.
You mean I protest too much?
No, Chris.
No, Chris.
Chris protests too much about Lorelai's comment.
You guys are confusing me, and then I realized
Yeah.
you're talking about him.
The
Yeah.
Shakespeare just threw me off. You'll have to explain
Agreed.
that a little bit more in the post.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot about the
Drunk
scene.
actor, John. Drunk actor.
Oh, I collect Devon. I collect drunk acting performances. It's like it's like a hobby of mine.
You're gonna get 2 for
I love
one.
it too.
Yep, 2 for 1 here.
Yeah, like every actor has their own drunk DNA. Like they have their own special drunk performance. Every actor's is slightly different, and so it's fun to collect them. Throughout movies and TV shows.
Buy one, get one free.
Look who it is.
Wow, this is a
Look who it is.
very, 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 very rare drunk performance.
Hi,
Right?
Doyle.
I'm just racking my brain if I have one that you can find and judge.
I love that line.
Oh, they cracked me up.
So Devin, do you know Danny Strong? You get to meet him while y'all were acting together?
I missed the name.
Oh, Danny,
Okay.
the actor that's there on screen. He's
Sorry. No, I never got to work with him.
Yeah, I never saw Danny once the entire time that I was on the show. I only knew Danny through acquaintances outside the show.
John, keep watching for your collection. This is great.
Goodness, am I gonna get like a whole like slew of drunk actings tonight?
Oh, it's wonderful.
You're getting it.
Oh, it's
right now.
I love this so much.
Drunk Doyle is the best.
The drunk Doyle is my favorite Doyle.
He sounds like he sucked on a helium balloon. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. So weird.
Use his tongue. He nuzzled with his tongue. That's so disturbing.
There's so
Very
much
much
to know
so.
here.
I love that she gave her gave him her coat when he's cold, and she doesn't. She's just wearing a strappy dress.
Yep. Oh, yeah, it's great.
He looks so little next to her.
Yep.
He left a kid.
Rory.
Rory.
John.
I don't know. I don't think you can compare it to like what Sherry
Have
did.
you seen this show?
The show.
I mean, well,
No, you're right. They're totally different situations.
they are. They are.
Did you
very-
forget for?
There is a gulf. There is a gulf between. No, of course I knew what you're talking about. I'm just saying, like, I just don't see them anywhere in the same ballpark.
You have to remember too that Rory was actually kind of like not taken, but she went along, with Lorelai to kind of start like a new life, and Chris wanted to be involved.
Exactly.
Have an opportunity to. I mean, we can talk more about this later, but I don't know. I see what you're saying, John, because like Sherry just up and left.
Sherry just went to Europe. She just left. I think more than anything, it speaks to sort of the spot, like how just sort of wishy-washy the Christopher character is. That he would view himself in any way like similar to Sherry. Man, they really went for grungy apartment.
Yeah. This is an action-packed episode, like emotionally action-packed for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's a great episode. Really.
I just hope people don't order Chinese food for 10.
I over order.
Oh, I love this moment.
That is a really nice friendship that has developed over the course of the series.
Oh yeah.
Just the look on her face,
Love it.
Paris's face. It's just, yeah.
And that's that.
It is so
Aw.
good.
Yeah, jam-packed episode for sure.
Such a great episode. For many reasons.
There's so much dark in it that like from my experience was that it was like the happy wedding episode, but there's so much dark. Well, of course, Lane's story too, but I don't know. It's a lot. It's a big episode.
So do you
But I'd say
remember
most
filming that,
episodes are like that.
Devon?
That's true.
All right, so
A question?
sorry, I'm gonna
Yeah,
bring some folks up here onto the couch,
that's right.
and I'm gonna need some help actually because I'm not in my office and the app is a little buggy and I can't actually switch views to the post show folks that reserved. I can only see the first one. So I'm going to call your name, and if you did not reserve for post show, you only reserved for the couch, don't raise your hand. If you either reserved for the post show or you reserved for both of them, raise your hand. So that's Megan, Tiffany, Tasha. Megan and Tiffany and Tasha. And we're going to bring Valerie up here.
Didn't the people that didn't reserve for the post show be dropped?
Yeah, is there anybody up here on the couch that didn't reserve for post show? No, everybody reserved. I'm pretty sure that everybody reserved for both. I actually looked in the app and I didn't see any of the codes that are for people who just only did one. So I think we're okay.
Okay. Just asking.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh,
And then we
here.
just have two. We just have two more, Rachel and Shelley. Shelley and Rachel. And that.
Everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh yeah, I meant to say hello, Devon.
Hello.
Nice to virtually meet you.
Hi.
You looked
Hey,
stunning
John.
in your dress, by the way.
Did Valerie?
Thank you
join?
very much.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Valerie up here. Valerie, I keep trying to invite you up, but for whatever reason, it's not bringing you up. So here's what we usually do is if it's like kind of
Glitchy.
hanging like this, I guess, leave the room, Valerie, and then come right back in, and then it should work. Oh, there we go. There
Hey,
you go,
John.
Valerie.
John,
Yes.
Jessica Stansel just messaged me and said that she reserved for the post show, but didn't get the notification that it went through. She sent you a message. So I don't know what to do. If I can, I will give my spot up for her because she loves Devon and she really wants to speak with her. So
I thought we
Who
can't
is-
switch.
who is it?
Jessica Stansel.
Thank you so much, Emma. That's so sweet.
Puppy.
I
Of
thought we
course.
can't switch representatives.
Can I just ask you one quick question before I hop down, Devon?
Sure.
What was your relationship like with Matt? Because Honor and Logan had such an incredible bond and it just felt like so natural. So it felt like you and Matt had a really close relationship while working together. So I was just curious about it.
Well, I was the stranger to the show and he's like on the show. So I couldn't possibly say close, but I would say he was really kind, really welcoming. He made me feel really comfortable and I really enjoyed working with him. But if we look like we're really close, that just means the show works.
Yeah,
Well, that's good to know.
for sure. And
So,
by the way,
I'm glad.
Emma, I am going to keep you up here if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
It is a rule that I put down, and there are some other folks who actually didn't make the couch that are on the waiting list. And so, just to be fair to everyone, we're going to keep it at the number that we have here now. So big episode. Yeah.
Major.
A bit. I mean, there's so much that we could talk about. I know that probably I'm guessing that what most people focus on for this episode is the cheating, the cheating, or did Logan cheat or did he not cheat? And should Rory be upset about it? Does he have the right to, were they actually broken up? I'm guessing that that's something that has been picked apart within the fandom like crazy. And I would love to be a part of that because obviously I'm watching this for the first time. So I want to get into talking about that kind of stuff because obviously that's a part of the fun, but let's try and be sensitive. to the fact that there are other really cool stuff that we could be talking about in the episode as well.
John, can we
why
ask
don't we?
Valerie about the dress real quick?
Yeah, let's.
Hey,
What's up?
Hey, John, I'm at a spot where I can talk for a few minutes, but I'm.
Yeah, so can we ask her about the dress
And
real
also I
quick?
wanna
Yeah, let's
say-
ask really quickly. So was
Also,
that
let me
dress?
say hi to Devon very quickly. Let me say hi.
Hi, Val. I'm so excited to see you here. Hi.
I'm sorry that my signal is probably going to be very bad here, but hey.
Well, we
everybody.
have one
So what's the
question. We have one question for you. We have a question for you, Valerie.
Go ahead.
We wanted to know whether the Vera Wang dress that Rory was wearing, was that really an actual Vera Wang dress?
Oh, I have to look it up for you guys. I might have to remember, but I wouldn't be surprised because we had to buy expensive things. Brenda would probably be the better person to ask.
And what
Does someone
about-
have like information that like it matches the dress? Because we definitely didn't make it. If that's the question.
Yeah.
And what about Devon's wedding dress, like Honor's wedding dress? They were saying they took that off the rack.
Probably. I don't think we made that dress, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think you said you bought it in.
Really. I
Yeah,
could
I think
try
you
to
said
call
you-
her on the way. She's probably working or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I would guess it was real. That her dress was real. I mean, that seems.
I wouldn't be surprised if it would definitely have been a real designer dress because.
Also, the fact that Devon, the fact that you,
especially that.
Devon, the fact that you remember that you kind of remember that Alexis was just sort of sitting around in it and just like didn't really seem to care, probably means that you might have actually gotten the information that it was real there on set.
Yeah, maybe I was like, ooh, she's even cooler because she doesn't care.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
I love that. Okay.
All I know is I think I just team everybody all the time, and Devon and I became very good friends when I had to take her to the bathroom. Remember that, Devon?
Oh, I remember. You can't pee in that dress, and you also can't take it off by yourself. So you know.
Oh my.
Funny.
So fast.
So yes.
Okay.
So let's dive into the episode. Why don't we start there? Why don't we start there with the bridesmaids stuff with Logan and Rory.
I would like to hear
Can I
your thoughts before we give you any
Yeah.
of the stuff that's happened over the last 2 decades.
Okay.
Yes, John, please.
All right. My thoughts are, I'm just gonna go on my initial reaction to it. Like my initial gut reaction to it is that like I was like, oh, which means that I'm not cool with it. I'm not cool with it.
Yeah, but the question
that,
is, did he cheat? Is probably what
I guess that well, here's the thing is that he told Honor that he was broken up with Rory because Honor then relayed that message to Rory. So if that's true, then he was officially broken up and therefore he didn't cheat. However, when Rory then asked him about that, when she said, Honor told me that you were telling her that we broke up, he actually framed it as like, no, that's just Honor. That I just needed to tell her something just to tell her I definitely don't see us as being broken up. Mm-hmm. So if then that's true, then regardless of whether or not they were technically broken up, he made her feel like they were not broken up and he didn't view it as a breakup. So
he says at the same time though, she asks him, did you mean it? And he said, yes, I meant it.
He did say that.
So,
yeah.
So it
So
They
in
were
his
saying
mind,
that
he was
he did
broken
break
up.
up with her.
But
Yeah.
question for me, why did he not communicate that to Rory? Why did he use honor?
Thank you.
You know, like
What
Thank you.
what was the time?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say they were actually broken up for the sake of argument. How long were they actually broken up for?
A few weeks.
Probably,
Yeah.
probably about
Few
a,
weeks. Yeah.
yeah, at least 2 weeks from when she had told him, but it might have even been longer than that.
Right.
Yeah.
So my perspective that nobody really cares about is that that's crazy. If you are in a relationship with somebody and then you break up and in the course of a few weeks you sleep with a bunch of people, like that's still problematic to me.
Yeah.
I would
I
agree.
I agree, and I guess that there's a difference between like cheating on somebody like in the very technical sense of the word, and like cheating on them like in a much more like emotional way, right? Like the fact that he would do that right after like literally right after they've had that fight sort of says that his heart's not in his relationship with Rory.
Yeah, when you
Agreed.
hear that, even if you believe that you have broken up, I'm of the belief that they weren't. You have to tell someone you were broken up to be broken up. But
he also came
if we
right
are
back.
saying in this, if we are believing that they are broken up, even you have to believe that someone's love for you would carry more than a week or two's worth of space. You know, you would expect some sort of grieving rather than what he
But
did.
isn't that his way of grieving?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
when you're stressed and you're vulnerable, you go back to your default behaviors. And prior to Rory, like Rory's his first relationship, like sleeping around is what he does.
That's not-
And so
I agree.
I'm not defending
think-
what he's doing. I'm just
Oh
saying
no, I'm not
that's
saying
when
that
you're
you are. I'm
vulnerable.
saying in general.
I think I have a little bit more. I think I have a bit more of a problem. I have less of a problem with him sleeping with these women right after he's broken up with Rory, and I have a bit more of a problem with all of the stuff he did after to try and get Rory back. All of that, all of the theatrics, all of that stuff. Now I see it in a very different light, knowing that he had.
John, he invites her to a wedding with all these girls, doesn't say, listen, we were broken up and I went back to these old habits. I mean, I don't know how much detail you should say, but still, like, he puts her in a situation to be made a fool of.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
True.
I know. And then he said, like, when she's like, why couldn't you have told me that? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you that. Why? To make you feel bad. But it's like, man, you put her into the lion's
Yeah.
den.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
That was the
brought her
worst.
right in there.
Can
It
I
was
say
the
something?
worst possible way for her to find out.
Yeah.
Can I say something about this? So I've been actually waiting for this episode, and I've been a bit too excited for this episode for this reason. So me, Lee, and Jessica have been talking about this actually, and I'm going to read you what I said, kind of like what Lee's already said, but I said it too. Like, when you coming from a person who's been broken up with quite a few times, I've been around the block. So in order to break up with someone, you don't go through their sister. That's just a cop out. You have to actually talk to the person face to face, whether that be, I don't know how video was back then, but you either need to call them yourself, be a man and do it, or go to them and actually break up with someone. And if we spin this into the Ross and Rachel were not broken up because they did not break up with each other. Anyway,
The Ross and Rachel thing doesn't mean anything to me because I've never watched the show.
Okay. Okay. Then going back to the whole Logan and Rory thing. So Logan and Rory were not broken up, just as I just said. And the fact that he says that, like, oh, I did not cheat on you. You slept with an entire bridal party. I went without talking to a past boyfriend for like a week. Doesn't mean I had the excuse to go sleep with people.
This is where
Like,
Logan's
you have-
experience with
I don't think it-
relationships makes a difference.
Yeah, I
He
don't think it
didn't- he didn't-
matters.
I'm not done.
Well, I don't think it
I just-
matters whether she was broken up or not, or they were broken up. This was hurtful behavior. And even if they had been broken up, I think Rory still would have found it very hurtful that he didn't miss a beat and went back to sleeping with women. And then, so I don't think it mattered whether they were broken up or not.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think that
totally.
his actions
Yeah.
hurt her.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
That's sort of,
And-
and that's sort of what I was getting at, to be honest. Like, which was like, yeah, I guess they were technically broken up, but like, I also sort of feel like that doesn't really matter because what he did was cheat on her in a much bigger way than just like, are we technically together? Are we allowed to sleep with other people? That kind of thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was like-
I have one more thing because Kathy Ann's not on the couch and she really wanted me to say something. So this is fully Kathy Ann's opinion, not mine. Okay, so she said Logan didn't cheat. They had their fight in October. Thanksgiving is what, late November, no communication. I'm sorry, but that's a breakup, not a break. And she was basically admitting that they weren't together when he was fighting for her in January to early February, up until she heard he had slept with them. She too had believed they were not together during that time, from just showing up to them getting back together just before the saving of the Daily News. That's her opinion.
Okay, so I think
Not
we
mine.
need to remember that all of that aside, he put in so much energy getting her back. And when he got her back, he never once relayed any of those experiences
Nope.
to her. So
He just wanted her back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He just wanted her back.
As much as he fought for her, like I was saying, like as much as he fought for her, the very first thing he could have said to her is, I went out, I slept with a whole bunch of people, and I realized none of that is what I wanted. I wanted you, and I'm here, and I'm here for you. That conversation, like just that one sentence, he doesn't have to go into the details, but just that one sentence admits what he did, his behavior, and it shows how his behavior changed or how he reflected on it and realized what he wanted.
I don't know.
But
I mean,
he pretended-
I definitely agree with you. He should have done that, but I also don't. I'm not completely convinced if what you're suggesting is that Rory would have been like, okay, I think if he had told her, I slept with all these women right shortly after we broke up, none of them compared to you. I've realized I'm totally in love with you. I think Rory would have been like, get out of here, man.
Oh yeah.
But he would have had the fight then.
I agree.
I think
Like
that
if they had
whole-
overcome it, they would have overcome it then and not months later. That's my point. Is like
She just
whatever-
wouldn't have been
like, comes
blindsided.
in truthfully. The makeup is based on truth and not on this thing that he was hiding.
Yep, I agree.
Well,
She should have
if
had
you-
all the information to make her decision.
If he was hiding it, I think that he would have warned them not to say anything to her when knowing that they would all be in a room together.
Well,
Yeah,
part,
I mean,
part
but-
of it is, I think it showed that whole scene where the bridesmaids are all talking about, oh, everybody slept with her, and the distinction between fooling around, not fooling around. It kind of shows the difference in their worlds. In Logan's world, all these people kind of all, did whatever with each other, and no big. And obviously, Rory's world isn't like that.
It's very Game of Thrones.
Yeah, no, I agree
Yeah,
with that.
truth.
I don't think Logan's world finds it as problematic as Rory's world does.
Exactly.
Oh,
I don't think they view sex the same, where Logan just used it because, like I think Nikki said, he's hurting. It's just kind of companionship or just, physical. Whereas Rory, that's not just, she's not just a one night stand, no emotion is attached. So I don't think they view sex the same. So Mary, if he would have said, I slept with a bunch of people, that's all she's going to hear. I don't think she's going to see that there was no emotional attachment to it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with.
Yeah, it's a hot mess.
Jessica Stansel, who's on the couch, she sent me a message and she wanted me to read her opinion for her on this situation.
Emma,
She says,
You're breaking up.
You're breaking
I
up.
am? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. So Jessica Stansel, who's on the couch, she messaged me and she wants me to read
On the
her
beanbags.
opinion on the whole. Yeah, she's on the. Yeah, that's what I meant. She's on the beanbags, and she wants me to read her opinion of this situation for her. So she says, I don't think he slept with the whole bridal party from the time they broke up. It's just the fact that he slept/dated with all of those girls, and Rory was in the room with a handful of the girls he had been with.
I mean, he specifically says, like, I've known these girls for a long time. Like, I just, like, it definitely feels like that little world. They all just sleep together.
Sure does
But
sound
don't
like
you
that.
think, yeah, just like what Rachel said, like, I mean, Rory has only ever had sex with men that she loves. She's never had sex just for having sex. And so she can't get her head wrapped around that.
Well, she tried to early on with
Yeah,
Logan.
exactly.
She tried to just do that relationship, and then she realized that doesn't work for her. So yeah, she definitely doesn't understand it. But I think part of his problem is that he, before his breakup, if you want to say in quotes with Rory, he didn't understand how relationships really work. So he didn't understand that when she thought it was a break, he thought it was a breakup, and then he went out and did stupid stuff. Then he comes back and he's too dumb to tell her what he really did, wins her back, and then now this happens. It's just
Devin, I saw you.
Inexperience. So,
Devin, I saw that you were trying to say something just a second ago. Did you have some perspective on this?
Oh, no, I'm popping in and out, and no, I find this all really fascinating. My personal perspective is that, like, they have very different life experiences, and there's a way in which I can see his point of view. But the excruciating experience of learning what she learned, the way she learned it, I just have to side with the emotional experience. I can just get my mind around his, like, presumably lived experience, but
His
like,
love.
I can only emotionally relate to how brutal it is to have something like that happen to you, where you find out awful things in a room full of people. So yeah.
But I'm of the opinion that he really had a responsibility to let her know that. I really do. I think that and mostly just because of how hard he tried to get her back, how big of how much flourish he put behind it, and I feel like now all of that stuff seems so petty, because it's easy to see it when back when it was happening as like kind of charm and persistence, and a guy who really loves her and wants to go, but now I can't help but think of him as a bit of a coward, because if he was super strong, he would have been strong enough to tell her that, given her that information.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, he can be from that point of view and have that point of view that we're broken up, and that if I sleep with a bunch of people, it's meaningless. He can truly believe that, and truly it means something to him, and he can truly love Rory. But she's from a world where that's not acceptable, and she would never do that. And the fact that that was done to her will never be okay. And I think it's an interesting, we don't name classes in this country, but I think it's an interesting culture clash thing, where it would be fine for some people, and it's never going to be fine for her.
Yeah, and also here's the thing: is that he knows that about Rory.
I was just going to jump in with that.
That's the main part of it, is that he understands that about Rory. That's exactly why he didn't tell her. And so, I mean, he's framing it as, I don't tell you because I don't want you to be hurt by that, right? But it's hard not to see it as, I didn't tell you because if I told you, you'd never have gotten back with me.
Devin, do you feel like Logan used Honor to break up with Rory by her telling Rory that they'd broken up? Do you think that he told his sister that in hopes that maybe it somehow would get communicated to Rory? Or do you think that was just purely an accident, that Honor assumed that Rory knew they were broken up when she called her and talked to her about going shopping? Do you know what scene I'm talking about?
I want to be perfectly honest. I am not sure. I can't say. I can imagine that the family they live in, that wasn't the case. This is a prejudice of mine, but like I imagine that like the social strata that this family lives in aren't worried as much about the fine feelings. And he just told her they broke up because he thought they broke up, and she just said it because she said it. But I am admittedly nowhere near as versed in all of this as pretty much everyone else in this room. But I don't, so there was nothing, so just as an actor, there was nothing in my script, there was nothing in my direction, there was nothing in my experience of this that said Honor is in on something.
No, I was just wondering, in your opinion, as somebody who is familiar with the show, if you thought maybe, because I mean, sometimes people say that they like, did he use his sister to break up with Rory? You know, I've heard that in the past. And so I was just curious if you had an opinion on that, since you got to play the part.
Hey, don't mean to interrupt, but Harvest, guys.
So anyway, I think it's a very interesting, very complicated situation. But ultimately, going back to the very beginning, that question, like, how do I feel about it? I'm sort of on Rory's side in the matter. I don't think that, I mean, I don't think she's being totally or totally straight in the matter. Like she says, she's sort of now saying that they were just taking a break, but that didn't really feel like Rory at the time. She seemed like she was full, like absolutely done. Like I'm moving on. And that he really had to bend over backwards in order to get her. Once she found out from Honor that they had broken up, that I felt like she sort of recognized it as a breakup. And so now she's sort of framing as like, oh no, I didn't really recognize that as a breakup. It seemed to me at the time. That said, I think that the person here who did the bigger wrong was Logan and it has nothing to do with the technical nature of like, was he actually broken up, and you know, are their experiences with sex different, and should his be, you know, it has more to do with the fact that he didn't tell her, and he knew that this would be something that would be really hard for her, and I sort of feel like he should have just moved on, you know, and I don't know, that's sort of
But John, she thought it was a break until she did talk to Honor, because she talked to Honor over the Thanksgiving break, and that's when she found out that Logan thought it was a breakup. She thought it was just a break until then, because she didn't tell Lorelai that. And then she heard from his sister that they had broken up, which is the same break time, Thanksgiving time, that he supposedly slept with all these bridesmaids. So in her mind at the time, she didn't realize it was a breakup, and he was already doing this at the time when she found out he thought it was. And that's where the conflict
Yeah,
comes.
that makes it even grosser to me.
Hey, John, as a person who has been waiting, and I'm only speaking for myself because I don't want to speak for other people, but as a person who's been waiting for this episode and waiting for your reaction for the last 4 months, I can't tell you how happy it is for me to hear that you think Logan is wrong in this matter, regardless of what the technical terms and like whether they were on break or broken up. I'm just happy to know that you think Logan is wrong in this situation.
For some context, Devon, we've gotten in it over the past 4 months over the teams of the Logan, Jess, Dean thing. It's actually been a really fun part of this whole experience. But
I'm starting to learn this. So like so I say like Team Logan just because those were the episodes that I was hired.
Oh, you got to be very careful. Team Logan comes with a lot
Carry
of stuff.
on, hey, what are you gonna say? No,
Yeah,
so I just want to say, like, I say Team Logan because I got 4 episodes as an actor out of this, and I was super fired up because I loved the show. However, I find Logan's behavior super problematic, but I don't find it. So I have space for Logan being less malicious. He's less malicious because he's a spoiled, privileged person who truly doesn't believe that I don't know, that either that he's hurting people or that other people have feelings. I don't know. But also, I can totally imagine a holiday season at this wealthy family where he says a thing and his sister misinterprets it because she doesn't care, and then she spills it on into a social situation because she doesn't care, and it all ends up hurting Rory. I see a lot of like emotional negligence because emotional care doesn't matter in their family.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
You,
I
you
think
did say that you were sorry, John. Did say that you did watch the seasons before you were on the show.
Here it comes.
I know.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
I'm gonna say I will fail every test because I don't remember. This is a long.
Oh no, she just wants to know what team you're on.
I did not ask that because I think that's rude to ask every guest that we have.
I'm Team Rory.
I can take that.
I'll take
Nice.
that happily.
All right,
I'll
so
take it.
let's do a quick.
Other
Let's do a quick. Hey everybody, let's do a quick pivot because we've talked about this for a while. We don't have Devon for that much longer, and there's some other stuff in this episode that's just absolutely killer. We have the Lorelai and Christopher and Gigi stuff, and we
I have some
have.
thoughts on that.
Come on now, we have the
Me
band.
too.
We've got Lane and
band.
Todd, and
Lane and Top.
I mean that was so
Wait,
adorable.
That
With
was
everything.
very cute.
Oh my god. We're just like
That
out
was
with it.
adorable.
Yay, Team Hep Bailey.
You know, I mean, and I have to say, okay, I get that people really love Dave Rogalski, and I understand. I think he's super charming. My biggest thing with the character is that he just it didn't really feel like there was enough conflict between him and Lane to really make that story pay off.
He also didn't have a lot of time with me either.
I know, I get it. He wasn't on the show. He was. They would have almost definitely given him conflict. But I mean, the fact that Zach is who Zach is, that he's such a dodo brain, and so selfish at times, and all that stuff, made this scene that much more adorable. That this guy he's so distraught about losing her that he's just an absolute complete mess. Puts her first, which when we see that against what we've remembered with the not writing a song for her and all of that kind of stuff, it's a nice growth for the character that I think gives us a scene that just really pays off in a way that hard to do with a character that's already super lovable and everybody thinks that they're perfect together,
Well,
What
but
I find really
also-
funny about that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say also, what's really great about Zach in this episode is that he doesn't just do it with Lane, he does it with the band. He's the one who wrecked everything, and then
True.
he actually has a moment where he's like, you know what, I broke it, I have to fix it. So he fixes it with the band too. It's it is a really good character moment for him because he's realizing that everything around him broke because of him, and he just kind of goes one by one and fixes all the problems.
I just
I
love
find it funny.
And I loved
find
it too.
Yep, me too.
I find it funny when I can't remember if it was Gil or your character, John, when someone said you have to get Lane back. When I first watched it, even up until now, because I've watched it countless times after, I was like, okay, I don't think they meant it that way to get Lane back, but I mean, hey, I still loved it. I thought it was cute, and the first time I watched it, I was 13 years old and I teared up, but I just thought it was a super cute thing and totally rock and roll, and how he proposed to her, because that's just how Zach is, and he's not a man of many words, and so when he's serious about something, it's so cute to watch him squirm in a good way.
Hey, by the way, really quickly, I just want to clarify because I've been getting some DMs from folks that were like, I reserved. Yes, actually, I saw that there were a lot of people who reserved that didn't get onto the couch. I specifically made the post-show couch smaller. So I didn't so there were a lot of people on the waiting list that just didn't get up onto the couch. So if you are thinking that it was that it was a mistake, it wasn't a mistake. I wanted to keep this one a little bit more intimate than we had in the past.
Hey, John, who were those other fellows in the band? The mustache guys, the drummer.
That guy, I want to say that those guys are like friends of Dave Rogalski, of the real Dave Rogalski, and Helen Pye. I feel like that guy is just like one. I mean, whenever they would have like some random music person. I mean, that guy was not an actor. I could say that. And my guess, I'm not guess. I seem to remember that it was a friend of Dave's. I can ask.
Did Dave know Joel then too? Is that how?
No, but that was another weird thing. I mean, I had no idea that guy ever came back after the last episode that we were in. I thought that was just a one thing, like just like one episode thing for him. But it also makes sense that like, you know, that Zach like has kind of like teamed up with this other guy that's just like a complete like loser, you know, and that would be kind of part of his arc, would be like realizing
he's my hero. He's my hero. He's not a loser.
Remember in the last episode, we said he picked that guy because he would be like numbers. He would be able to like boost Todd and do whatever he wanted. So, or Zach, sorry. So that's why he went to him. He's going to do whatever Zach wants to do.
That is funny. Yeah, I love that.
And he also brings his mom to gigs just like Brian. So, you know, because that was his mommy he told to wake up when they were doing their little thing.
I thought that was
so sweet.
The tambourine guy's mom.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So,
I thought you meant Zach's.
Zach's best friends bring their moms to their gigs because Brian's parents came to watch them do their show once, and then Joel's mom came to watch them. I was just making a silly joke. Sorry.
Oh no, you're totally fine. I thought it was funny. I just didn't know who you were talking about.
Well, that storyline was really great. I remember when we shot it, like I didn't really have much context for what was going on outside of of that little scene there with the hollaback girl thing. So I didn't really know. I didn't really get a lot of that emotional stuff. I mean, I remember the Zach character being kind of slouchy and humble in that scene with us. But watching it now, seeing all that other stuff, really it's really emotional. I think it's definitely that character's his best moment so far in the entire series.
John, I think it's interesting that like as an actor on the day in that scene, you might not have known. But for all the viewers who have watched the whole story play out, they're like, "Oh my God, this is big, and that I think that's interesting, just to know like what it's like to be an actor. Sometimes you just don't know the big story.
Yes, that would
show up and do your thing.
Totally, that's been a theme. Like we've talked about that a lot. You know, I mean, that in a lot of ways, that was a big part of what inspired me to want to do this watch, because I've been getting to know Gilmore Girls fans. I've been, meeting them a lot, going to these fan festivals. And one big thing that always comes up is this sense that many fans have that I do know, right? Like, so they'll ask me questions about something. And, I used to dance around it. I used to be kind of nervous, like, try and pretend like I kind of knew, but but maybe, or I'd smile. And I just started getting tired of that. Like, I wanted to sort of bridge that divide between their relationship to the show and my relationship to the show. So we've talked about that.
Very similar. Often very similar.
Yes. Yeah. But I mean, of course, very different in the fact that, my relationship to it is from behind the scenes mostly. And I mean, I didn't know the show before I was on it, so I didn't even have the chance to like really kind of become a fan of the series before the way that you had. And so for me, it really was a job. Like I got the role and I just was going whenever they called me to come and do an episode. I went down there and got into makeup and I did the episode. And, sometimes they didn't invite us to every table read, and not because they didn't want to, but because sometimes the episode just wasn't ready by the time they had our scenes prepared. And so I sometimes didn't even read the scripts. Like I just didn't know what was going on. And so my relationship to the show is just now so very different. In fact, there are times where I watch this and I forget that I'm in the show, you know, and I just completely forget that I'm a cast member from the series. I just feel like I'm watching with a bunch of people who we all have one thing in common. We really like this show. And that's just been really wild. But it's true. Most fans don't realize that like actors very often do not watch the things that they're in because it's our job.
Yeah, it's interesting, John. You asked me in the beginning before that we like officially opened, like how much I had watched and why I had stopped. And I think I couldn't really answer, but I've been reflecting, and I think I felt a little cringy watching something that I was on, or like a little needy. Like,
yeah,
I was in 4 episodes, so if I'm watching every day or like every episode, and I'm like, oh, I'm not in this. I don't know. It felt a little needy to me. So
yes, I totally get that. That actually happens to me. Tell me if this is the same for you. I don't really get. It doesn't get like I don't get like this anymore because I don't act anymore. But when I did, I would have a hard time watching stuff. I would have a hard time watching things that I auditioned for.
Yeah.
In a similar way that I just don't want to think about like that, you know, the like, and it's similar, right? Like I don't want to watch a show that I'm not in because that's like what I do. Like I want them to put me in it, you know, like I think. Like, oh yeah, like Alias. I never watched Alias because of how far I got on that role.
Oh no.
I never watched it. I couldn't. I got really far in this one particular role that I auditioned for. I got all the way to the network, and because of it, I couldn't watch that show. It just always was sort of hurt a little bit. And I know, like we're kind of joking, like, you know, in season 5 and season 6, there were a lot of episodes where Brian wasn't in the episode, but Zach was in the episode. And early in the series, Brian and Zach were almost always together. So if like Zach was in the episode, so was Brian. And that was like kind of a thing. And then all of a sudden, as that storyline of Zach and Lane started to progress, they had more reason to bring him in. And even now, after 20 years, I watch that and it's hard not to we joke about it, but there's behind that joking, there's a little bit of kind of like, oh, I wish I had been in that episode. That's kind of a bummer that they didn't hire me. I can't imagine how bummed I would have been back in the day if I had known that.
Yeah, no, you're not alone. You're not alone.
I think anybody who has like auditioned for anything, whether it be like network television or as in my opinion low on the totem pole, like high school like plays or something like that, and they've like watched someone else like do a part that they auditioned for, I think that we all in some way feel the same way.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I felt that with high school plays, so I'm not on the same level, but
I can attest to that too, because I auditioned for 2 TV pilots this year, which is the first professional thing I've ever auditioned for. And I never heard back from either of them. And I just saw a commercial like 2 weeks ago for one of the things that I auditioned for. And I was like, oh, okay, guess I didn't get that role. Don't feel like watching that show anymore. Okay.
Yeah. Emma, you never hear back if you didn't get it. That's just normal.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's one of the, and that's by the way one of the things that actually drove me out of that career. I just really couldn't take I couldn't take how hard it is for actors. Frankly, it was just the lifestyle was just not something that I enjoyed. I didn't like being in my car all the time, and I especially didn't like that. I really didn't like feeling like cattle, feeling like you know, I say this often, like, if not often anymore because I don't really think, but I used to say a lot, where if if every actor in the city woke up and just said, I'm not going to an audition, like I'm just not going to these auditions
You would
today,
not have
the industry would just like grind to a halt. You know, like even the smallest actors like playing all these various roles. And so I do think that it's a bummer that actors don't get any call after they do these auditions. You know, I do.
Me too.
I do think that they deserve more than more than that.
I honestly think
I
for
think that's a lot of
professionals
jobs
too.
though. That's any profession. They just don't call you if you're not in. I've applied for put my resume in places and I'm an engineer and they just if you're like above you're applying for something that's below you, like they don't even bother to call you to say, oh, you're overqualified for this. They just don't.
That's a problem. I mean,
That's weird.
That's how I feel about it. I just feel like that's a problem. I get it that that's the way of the world, but I think it's a problem. But
You can't get a debrief if you ask for one.
No, you cannot. You can't like I mean, your agents can sometimes call and ask like, you know, can I get some feedback, you know, but it's, you know, they usually don't give much, and it's, you know, it's hard to get it, and it can actually make you look bad if you're
yeah,
if you're
John, I
doing
just want to say about that. I did that one time. I thought I nailed an audition, and crickets as usual. That's fine, but I was like, no, this was really good. So I asked my agent to ask, and the feedback was really bad, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, because my agent wouldn't have known that they didn't like it.
Oh yeah, wow,
that sucked.
That's very interesting. I'd never thought of that, but that's absolutely true. That's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So every time you ask, you're gonna get an answer.
Yeah. Yep.
Shall we switch to Lorelai and Christopher and Dee?
Yeah. So, but before we do, Devon, we're 9 minutes over the allotted time that I said we were doing this. We usually do run over, but you do not feel pressured to stay. We have one more area of the episode that we're going to talk about, which is the Lorelai Christopher stuff. If you've got to get going, totally understandable. If you'd like to stick around and join the conversation on that as well, happy to have you.
Also,
this has been amazing, but I am gonna go. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, you
Thank
are wonderful.
Yes, thank you.
Devon, you are wonderful. Thank you so much for doing this.
we love you.
This has been a real blast. And maybe you'll come back at some point.
Oh,
Stop in anytime.
Yeah, stop
You're
in
very
anytime.
welcome.
And
Yeah,
Jessica says bye, Devon.
Bye, Jessica. Yeah, this is great. Thank you so much, Sean. This is like, it tested my technology skills and my memory skills, so it's great.
Nice, and it was fun. It was a nice, lively chat.
Yes, so much fun.
It was great.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you so much,
Thanks for
Devon.
coming,
Have a great
Devon.
night.
Bye, Devon.
Bye, Devon.
See you soon.
Thank you for loving Gilmore Girls.
Of course. Thank you for being
Thank
part
And
of
I'm
it.
gonna tell Jenny that she needs to get you out to FanFest.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you.
To honor and to honor's honor.
To honor and to honor's honor.
Well done, Nikki. That
Good
was
night.
so cheesy.
Good night, Devon.
Good night, Devon.
Good night.
Good night. You guys are amazing. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
I'm so
All
happy
right.
to talk about
So-
this.
I loved her.
So we are
Nikki, that was-
now going to open up the couch for the remaining folks who would like to come join us up here on the couch, and we can continue talking. I only keep the reservation wall up for the guest. So Carl, come on up. Mandy, come on up. Sabrina, come on up. Shauna.
Hello.
I love how like I knew you
Hello,
were gonna open it as soon as she left.
Hello.
Kathy Ann,
You're
hello.
you're clairvoyant. Yeah, sorry folks, if I wasn't clear with the reservation. Yeah, I mean, there's a certain number. I keep it at that number. Tonight I did want to keep it smaller, just so that I could keep that, just so that for the guest, we could have a little bit more of an intimate conversation afterwards. So I only added 5 more people that were waiting there on the list. I might have to look, though. It's possible that that the people who came up afterwards, if you reserved for both of them but only got in the last one, it might have charged you for both of them. And I'll rectify that later tonight.
So we'd only get half.
Yes, well, you'd only get 40. You would only pay 40%, which you would only pay 40. So if you notice that you're down 100, don't worry, I'll fix that later tonight.
Okay, cool.
That was a blast. Devon is awesome.
Devin's amazing. I love her.
She's amazing.
She's so fun.
She's so fun, and she's got such great, like, I loved all that stuff that she shared there at the end about being an actor and you know, and her perspective of being on the show and why she sort of stopped watching it. I hadn't really thought about that, but that makes total sense, right? Like, it's hard for you to like, suddenly you're on the show, and now like any episode you watch that you're not on it is going to actually feel a little weird.
You know, I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if Devon knows what happened to the original plot of.
Oh my god!
I really wish you would.
Oh, really?
More episodes too, Carl.
I just want to know. Does she know? Was there like a secret society thing or something?
I want to know if Marty's going to be in the revival.
Same though, for real.
I really hope Marty's in the revival. I mean, if that happens, forget it. The amount of kernels that I'm going to be just gifting myself.
Oh, the
I'm just going to totally manipulate. I'm just going to manipulate the system. I'm just going to go in. I'm going to just code it. Just give me all the kernels.
Oh my god. I really want Connor to be in.
Let's shift over. Let's shift over to Christopher and Lorelai.
Oh, please.
It's a really exciting.
Yes. I actually enjoyed her telling him.
Me too.
Yes. Because she's the one person that he knows that he can ask anything to, and she'll be 100% honest.
Absolutely.
And I think by her saying you really need to reel this kid in, it's gonna be really bad if you don't.
And she's right.
Was perfectly acceptable.
I agree. And she was right.
It seemed to me like it was coming. My take was that it was coming from a place of frustration on her part, like her own frustration dealing with Gigi, than it was from any really like centered place of, let me explain something to you that you're going to really need going forward in order to help. You know, it sounded like Lorelai at her wit's end, just lashing out. I mean, and it's a little girl, you know, I mean, like it's a little like a little child, and
you know what,
and I have an issue with this, like with this idea of like her telling him like how he should raise his child and what he's doing wrong, especially given the fact that he's doing it by himself, you know, and the idea that he would be anywhere compared to Sherry is just bizarre to me.
No, I think she was wrong for throwing that in his face, but yeah.
So can I follow up on what I said during the episode?
Yes, I didn't understand. I just simply didn't understand it. Like, not that I was judging. Yeah. I wanted to know.
No. When Chris is like, when he takes Gigi and walks away, I said he does protest too much, which to me makes it sound like he's heard this before. She's not the first person to say it, and he's super defensive.
Yep.
About what he's hearing. So he's heard it, and he's in a position of he's either in denial or he is so he doesn't know what to do, so he has nothing to come back with other than it's not true.
I think
because then he doesn't have to deal with it.
I completely agree with you, and I think that it is both. I think it's that he just doesn't want to hear it anymore, and he's complete, not denial, but he just doesn't want to hear it anymore.
But I also think
that makes sense.
I also think that Chris and Lorelai like know each other really well, and I think he's ready for her to judge him, because like it's like kind of their dynamic, you know, like he's
he's like almost being defensive before she's even coming at him. Like he like his, you know, I think also because he feels so bad about how things went down with Rory just over the years, that she was alone and she was doing it by herself. And I think a combination of like, he still feels kind of guilty about it, especially in retrospect now as an adult with a small child, and also like knows that the person who's gonna nail him is Lorelai. The person who's gonna like tell him, like tell it like it is gonna be Lorelai. So I feel like he's coming at her, you know, with that, and I actually just think that's their dynamic. Like I don't think she's you know, I don't think she's right, but I like in the way she approaches it, but I also like think that that's just who they are together.
That you don't think
So
she would probably hold her tongue with other people.
Oh, 100%. I think she would hold her tongue with other people, although she didn't with Luke, but when Jess came. But like, you know, I think with people that she feels very comfortable with, and also has a breadth of knowledge as a, you know, a single mom. I mean, she did it by herself. Like she really did do it. And so, you know, when it comes to this territory, she's definitely like, hey, I know a little bit more than you do here, and I'm going to tell you. But I think with Christopher, you know, she's always going to tell him like it is. There's like, the two of them do that with each other throughout the series. And it's actually a really interesting relationship, because you can see how they have known each other for a really long time, and they know each other like nobody else knows them. And so they're able to say things to each other that other people wouldn't get away with.
I
And
agree. Their dynamic actually makes her comments land more.
Yeah.
I think that
Yes.
dynamic is why Christopher's like, whoa, it's coming from Lorelai too. Damn. Like it just he takes it more seriously, even though, and so as a result, he reacts more strongly.
Yeah, exactly. And he
Absolutely.
mainly listens to Lorelai when he does tell him exactly like what's going on and what's what. So, but also Lorelai's just telling him. I mean, yeah, she's yelling at him, but she's also like explaining this is what's going on with Gigi, and this is how he needs to, you know, get her to act better, or you know, have better behavior. But it's just I don't know. It's just
To me, like I honestly feel, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion, I honestly feel like Lorelai was right in every single sense of the word, because like Chris, like he's taken on a role of a single father, and I'm not a single parent and I don't have kids, so yeah, I don't fully understand it. But watching, regardless of the relationship I have with my mother, watching her raise two kids all by herself for most of my life, it's a hard ass job to do. And so yeah, like Chris is stepping into a territory that he didn't think he would have to, because he thought he would always have Sherry. And since that's not the case anymore, I feel like Chris, and this kind of was implied in the show, Chris can't take criticism, like regardless if it's coming from like a teacher or a nanny or even Lorelai, for example. Like we saw how he yelled at Lorelai. Lorelai had every right to say what she said. Chris is a new single parent. He needed to hear the criticism. He doesn't like it, and he thinks that he's right. And Lorelai had a kid, and she raised her all by herself. And so she has a leg up on the fact that Gigi needs to be told no, regardless if she's a little kid. Like I was a tyrant. Like every little kid probably ran their parent ragged, but at the same time, there is a balance of like letting your kid be a kid and kind of like create trouble in a sense, but also telling them no when they need to. And Gigi never heard the word no, considering everything that she did to Lorelai's house. So Lorelai had every right to say what she said. Yeah, she might have been a little bit angry with how Gigi tore up her house, but she also said it because Chris needed to hear it, because he doesn't know how to take criticism.
Oh, whoa. Okay, Sasha, here's the thing though. It's like, I agree with some points that you brought up, but Christopher not being able to handle criticism, all my brain can think of is that one moment when Emily Gilmore went to his house, literally looked at his child and said, oh, it's cute, and then called him weak right before she invited him to her what is it, wedding thing? Yeah, that's criticism, belittling the whole shebang. His father was Strode. If we go back to Dear Womenly and Richard, he was sitting on the stairs with Lorelai and he was like, oh, we should probably do this and the first. He can handle the criticism. It was just when he was a parent, like with what Mary said, he doth protest too much. He heard all the stuff before and he was in denial with it. And he even explained why he was in denial with it.
Oh, I was
in the
thinking like
episode.
he couldn't take criticism like his whole life. I mean, hell, his life just shows that he can take criticism. He's alive, isn't he? What I meant was in that fact is that as a parent, he can't take, and I think every parent at some point hates to take criticism from other parents, especially if they know more. My whole thing was, and I probably should mention this, he can't take criticism when it comes to his child because he thinks that he knows the best, which not all parents knows what's best for their children. Other people have to let them know.
Let me ask.
I criticism even with Rory too. I mean, because remember when Luke comes in and tells him like what's white, like he still can't take it also. So as a parent, you're right, Tasha, that it's like he just can't take it.
Yeah, I agree with Tasha. Sorry to cut whoever. Go ahead, and then I'll say my piece after.
I'm done. Emma, go ahead.
John was gonna say.
Yeah.
Hey, so Elle, one of our community members, Elle, was booted out of the room and could not get onto the couch yesterday.
Do you know why?
I'm fearing. Well, I know that when people block somebody, that that community member is not able to get into the room. So is anybody who's on the couch blocking Elle?
No.
No.
I don't have anybody.
Absolutely not.
No way.
No.
Not at all.
Somebody.
Okay.
John,
Nope, I don't
Clubhouse
block
is-
anybody.
it might be a problem with Clubhouse, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you want us all to go down to let her back in?
Yeah, I'll happily do that.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Down.
Wait, what's going on?
Everybody is leaving the couch so she can get back in the room.
Yeah, so that she can get back into the room.
And then are we coming back up?
Yes, and then
Okay.
we'll bring folks up one by one.
Okay.
I would like to say that this whole blocking conflict thing, there's a story behind it. There's a plot with the story. It goes from original to here. It makes sense to me.
What do you mean?
What is that?
Oh, well, it's just consistent. I'm not saying that like it's consistently happening, but like, so
I don't think that it's a Clubhouse thing, but personally, I think that I think that at this point, I think that it's pretty clear that when somebody blocks another person, that person cannot communicate with that person, and when that person's on the couch, they are then booted from the room. I mean, it's pretty.
Yeah, the mechanics of the blocking thing makes sense to me.
Yeah. Oh, you mean that you advocate for it? Like you think that it's?
I don't advocate for blocking because, like, I mean, I only blocked one person, and
I think it's a terrible system for building community. But let's drop the last few folks here onto the beanbags, and then let's see if we can get Elle back into the room.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right. Can somebody let Elle know? Is she back in the room? All right, so I'm not seeing Elle back. Yeah, it's just terribly frustrating, the whole thing.
That's weird. I tried leaving and then
Oh yeah, and then it just
Still
you
up
just
here.
it just
I don't know what
it
happened.
just jumped. Yeah, it just popped you right back up.
Sorry about that. I'm happy again. I'm happy to go down if that'll work out.
Yeah, let me just drop you down. All right. Great. She's coming back. Yeah. In the in the future, this I imagine this won't be the problem that it is now, because this is just obviously not something that we can do. All right, I'm going to bring Elle up first. That way she's on the couch.
Hi, thank you.
So sorry about that.
Sorry about this.
So sorry about that. No problem. Okay. All right, let's bring some folks up onto the couch, and hopefully you don't get knocked off the couch, Elle, but my guess is that you probably won't. But if you do, all right. Tasha, come on up. Diane.
Who have like heard about like blocking and stuff like that. When you say if you block someone like in the room, I've heard that like they can still be in the room. It will just have like a little notice saying like a person that you blocked is in the room.
That's
like
only
it won't
if the
knock
person who's the blocker does that. It doesn't happen for the blocked person. The blocked person can't even get in.
If the blocker is a speaker, then the person blocked can't be in the room.
Yeah. It's all about the speaker. It's if the blocked person, if the person blocking is speaking, meaning they're on the couch or on the stage, as Clubhouse calls it, then the person who's being blocked simply can't come into the room, doesn't even see that the room is available. That's the main thing, and that's the reason why I don't believe that it's a Clubhouse problem. It's that the room is just invisible to them completely, and that is something that Clubhouse has just recently implemented.
The only people that I block is those people the weird people that just come into the room just to like get dates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we don't. I mean, I don't let them on the couch. So even blocking folks like that, it's like you don't have to worry. They're not gonna be up on the couch.
Well, no, they follow me
right
afterwards.
Oh,
yes,
follow.
Or like fake Colin first.
Sometimes
they message
you something,
Carl.
What's up?
Wasn't you trying to say something about the whole Chris thing? Because Emma, you were saying like you were right about what?
I was going to actually ask the question to parents, like how you would feel as a parent if another parent is telling you that your kid is spoiled and needs to be. I mean, I guess that like I'm
awful.
What Diana said makes the most sense to me, which is that like it's hard for you to like compare this, because really it's less about like a parent speaking to another parent and more it's like an old friend that can talk to him in ways that other people can't. But like I just would have to imagine if you're a parent and somebody criticizes any aspect of the way you parented or your child, that you'd be like, get the fuck out of here, like
It would be different if it was my best friend versus somebody off the street.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it
matters.
house. If I respected them, I'd be okay.
I think it also depends on the tone used and like the way that Lorelai did it. Like I don't remember who said it, but she was frustrated, and I think if she would have taken the time to calm down and actually talk to him, he might have taken it a little bit better. And I feel like I would be the same. Like if you were to sit down and talk to me calmly and explain, like this is what I'm seeing, I might take it better than if you were to yell at me and be frustrated.
I wonder if she would have reacted the same way if this child wasn't Chris's, because I feel like a part of her frustration is that this is Chris's daughter, and of course she doesn't have discipline. Of course she doesn't know the word no. Of course, and I think that it's just kind of like her frustration with Chris sometimes when he doesn't have the discipline, he doesn't have rules, he doesn't follow through. And I think seeing that in Gigi kind of triggers kind of those feelings that she has for Chris.
I agree.
She did say to Lane's mom when Mrs. Kim was being a little bit too harsh. I can't remember after what incident, being a little too harsh on Lane. I get like Lorelai did put her 2 cents in. It was very different circumstance and very different tone, but she did give her 2 cents from one mom to another.
It was after she had found out about Lane's secret
double date
stash of everything, and she moved out and was living with Rory, I think, or the double date, one of the two. It's either one of the. I think it was both actually. But I was saying before, I agreed with you, Tasha, about the way that Lorelai handled it. I think that she had every right to say what she said to Chris. Yes, she could have said it a little bit nicer, but Gigi destroyed her house. She drew a permanent marker on the floor. She dumped chocolate milk all over Polanka. She threw books around Rory's room. Like, I get that she's a little kid. I get that she's 4, but like, you have to parent your children. You know, you have to teach them. I'm not a parent. I haven't had kids. No, but there's this. Your children can't act like that. Like, they have to be like. She was a terror.
Children in transitions, when they have not been at somebody's house, she's never been to that woman's house. How would she? And how much experience has she had around Lorelai? If you've never had, like, some kids do not take transitions well when they have to go from one place to another. She's a traumatized little child. Her mother left her. She doesn't have that parenting. She's bounced back and forth probably between different nannies or whatever. And I don't think that she was justified in yelling at Christopher. I think that that's very rude.
Oh my gosh!
She volunteered to watch him.
I just thought of
have to learn somehow.
Oh, go ahead, John.
I was just gonna say I just thought of something.
Go for it.
Hello. I'm afraid. What do you think? I'm afraid though. I'm kind of scared.
Gigi in the revival. Oh my goodness. What is Gigi in the revival?
You want to put some cardinals?
Oh, I just thought of that. If they do not show me Gigi in the revival, I'm done. They're dead to me.
Time to be done.
But also, the fact that she doesn't know the word no is interesting to me too. Like,
Emma, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Do you think, like, in my experience, I think that single fathers are more, it's like people give them advice more readily than they would to single mothers. So do you think that maybe that kind of factored into it as well, that she felt like she had to say something to him because he was a single father?
Maybe, but I think like, there's been a few people have said it. I think because also Christopher and Lorelai know each other very well. I think Lorelai felt compelled to say it to him because she knows him and she feels that she can because they have a relationship. Like I said, I think she was trying to help him. I think, like, you're right, Tiffany. I think she was trying to help him. Now, she could have said it nicer. I agree in that sense. But I think she was also not just frustrated with Christopher or Gigi, but like she was frustrated that her whole house was kind of.
She should have watched her in his house. I think that would have worked out better if she was in her own. That it's just you cannot. I don't know, if she's not used to being at somebody's house, it just might be how she acts out.
Yeah, but Chris doesn't think about that. I mean, he's still a parent and trying to learn that, and this is how you learn. This is how you become a better parent. This is how you think, okay, next time it's on her turf, so it's her toys, her bed. I think that's what he's going through. He's doing this on his own and he needs to figure this out.
Can I jump here? This is Hunter. One, like I agree. It probably should have gone. She probably should have gone to Gigi's house because of the whole environment thing. But also, we don't know how well that would have gone over with Luke. Like he's okay with the situation right now, but Lorelai going to Chris's house and spending time over there might have been a little bit awkward. But also, your kid comes to my house, my newly renovated house, and writes all over my new hardwood floors and pours chocolate milk on my dog that everybody's waiting to keel over anyway. Like, like that. No.
Yeah.
Get your stuff together. We're going to sit on the porch until your daddy gets here. Like, no.
Yes,
Right.
I agree.
On period, like I think what Lorelai did for sure. I think that just listing off the things that happened and telling Chris like, "Yo, this is a lie. Your child is doing the most," was literally something that people would say. Yeah, it could have came off a little bit rude, but at the same time, they've been close for so long that I think that as it's been said earlier, oh, I would have said it to my best friend. I would have done this. I would have done that. If I would have critiqued someone's parenting skills, then yeah, I would have sat down, would have had a whole conversation. But this was mostly about, okay, your daughter just effed up my house, my pet, my whole everything. Get it together.
If someone,
you know, it felt very much like,
yeah. If someone would have went up to, because like I said, I was a tyrant. I was like Damien from The Omen up until I was like 7 years old. Like if someone would have told my mother, if anybody knows my mother, she would have had a different reaction. But for sake of argument, if someone would have gone up to my mother and told her, look, your child is driving me crazy. She did this, this, and this. Like, if it were my shoes, I would have been like, okay, thank you for telling me. I will do my best to like reel her in. But like, yeah, like any sane parent who had to babysit a child like Gigi would have definitely said something along those lines of what Lorelai said. Probably not in the same manner, but probably would have said the same thing, kind of like what Hunter and Carl was saying, because like, I don't think anybody wants their house tore up by a 3-year-old, no matter how cute she is.
Lorelai's not a good parent.
But
She
wait,
should take her outside.
But yeah, I was going to say that, but also, can we also not like forget that Lorelai offered this? Lorelai was the one who said like, hey, you know, I could totally take her, you know, if you, and he was like, oh, really? Wow, thank you.
She knew she was stepping in.
She didn't know
It wasn't like he forced her on Lorelai. That was sort of the sense that I was getting from what you were saying.
But she didn't know she was babysitting Satan.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well,
Oh my goodness.
In my
I'm
experience,
just
you have,
teasing. Oh
you have
my
a kid like
God.
that, you take them out to a
I'm
park
just
or something.
teasing.
You should have taken them to the park. Should have taken something else.
I
But she
agree,
didn't know
Shelley.
that
She could have
beforehand.
redirected the child instead of kind of
Just
freaking
letting
out
her terrorize.
Yeah,
Also-
there's things that she could have done.
Also, in a way, Lorelai was always so lackadaisical on like rules and stuff. She's also treating Gigi like she did Rory, but they were two different kids.
talk about it.
Great point.
And
I
but
mean,
Gigi
they're
also
so
heard
different
the word.
personalities.
That's true.
That-
That's sort of what I was getting at when she was like, oh, I've raised a kid already. I'm like, yeah, I know, but your kid is different. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
your kid is different.
See, and this is the thing. Yeah, like this is the thing that we can talk about here. Like, oh, were there two different children? Yeah, that's a point. Oh, well, you know, Gigi needs to understand the word no. That's also a point. I just think that what Lorelai did, it wasn't really much of a problem, mostly because her and Chris go way back.
Yeah.
And also,
And even then, Chris admitted that it wasn't a problem. So it's kind of like, seems like a
about
moot
her
point.
being different than Rory.
Yeah, but it's still fun,
It's a standard
so,
for
Carl.
all kids, whether they're like Rory or they're like, you know, any other kid. They should know what no means. You know.
Well, yeah, there's definitely different
Absolutely agree with
standards of
that.
like behaviors and like and like discipline and stuff like that. But I mean, you also have to take in consideration about the child and itself. Rory was so reserved and so well mannered, and Gigi just is not. She's just very all over the place.
But also, like, you know, I mean, different like kids behave differently in different environments with different people. You know, I mean, Lorelai's talking as though she knows exactly who this girl is just from this one particular night.
she did that with Jess too.
Yeah,
She thought
she sure
knew,
did.
knew how Luke should parent Jess. I think she's a little bit outspoken.
But
Yeah.
culturally, can I just point out that like I grew up in a culture where if I'm at someone's house, I have to follow that house's rules.
Yes.
So if I'm at my, aunts or uncles, they're going to reprimand me as if they are my parents. And they're going to, and I'm expected to uphold the expectations from their house as if it was my house. So for Lorelai to be able to like say to Chris, she can't stop anything. I get when people were like, she should have taken her out to the park. But at the same time, there are standard rules that I don't think Lorelai was too demanding on.
Well, wait a
Don't
second,
write
but
on
you're
the
saying
floor.
now you're saying they're standard rules.
Yeah, but
you
when
started by
someone-
saying they were cultural rules.
But Lorelai said to her, "Don't draw on the floor," and she looked straight at Lorelai and drew on the floor. Yeah, you need to listen to Lorelai's rules. Even if you can draw on the floor in your own house, even if Daddy says that's okay, I just told you don't draw on my floor.
Oh yeah,
Right.
She's 3. It's really hard to tell a 3-year-old make them listen to rules. They said she was 3. She looked older than that though.
Is it?
You know what? I'm gonna say this. If I have my house and it's looking all nice and it got recently renovated, this is personal stance. And I tell the child, look, don't draw on my stuff. That's permanent marker.
She should have called him.
And that child look at me, huh?
She should have called Chris immediately then. If she was having that much
Number
of a problem.
one. Yeah, what I would have done, Sherry, is that number one, if I saw even just a little bit, just like one drop of that Sharpie get on my floor, pick up the child. Okay, we going outside. Okay, you can color on the grass. Call up Christopher. Get your child.
Get your kid right now. God just checked me out. What did I do?
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, this is the teacher in me, but I mean, there should have been like a redirection. I mean, if she's drawing on the floor, she needs to be doing something different. I mean, she's told not to draw on the floor, yet she still looks at her and we're like, okay, something different. I mean, that's what, I don't know.
The child would have.
I mean, that
child would have been heated.
That's my favorite. I think Carl, you said probably my favorite sort of remedy of the situation. I would just, like, if I saw her doing something I didn't want done and I really I felt that strongly about it, then I'd be like, come get your kid. Come get your kid.
So John,
can't do it.
How do you think, say Josie, 2.5 years down the line, was either at your house or you found out when she was being babysat at someone else's house and she took a marker, permanent marker, and just drew on the floor knowingly what she just did, how would you react to it?
Well, I mean, I mean, that's I can't possibly answer that question yet because I don't know the personality of my child at that age yet. Like, and that's a big part of it. Like, no, because it, it could be that she is like, is she normally like that? Does she do that all the time? And this was just something she did, like lashed out, like in some very uncharacteristic fashion. I really don't know that. So because all of those would change how I felt about it. Like if she was somebody who I knew was likely to contradict the rules of the household that she's staying at, I probably wouldn't bring her there because I wouldn't want to even have to deal with that. But if it was like something that she wasn't, that she didn't characteristically do, but she did that, and then the parent yelled at me like, you need to take care of your kid, they don't know how to say no for an answer, I'd be like, I'd be thinking, I know my kid. Like, I know that that's not what they normally do. There's something that happened to her there tonight. She's a freaking child, and I would probably be upset, you know what I mean, like with them, like, trying to tell me how to raise my kid, or thinking that they know my kid based on just one single night. And that's mostly the issue that I have
You
with
could have had a
Lorelai.
bad
So it's like,
day. Little kids have bad days.
they have bad day. I mean, I
don't know. You don't know.
I don't know Gigi. I really don't know her at all. Like, it's the first episode that I've seen her in this context, so I don't know. Is that the way she is always, or is she just really upset that her dad left her there? Like, that she not like Lorelai? Like, I just don't really know. she might be awesome in like other situations. And then tonight is an outlier, at which point, like, you know, I certainly don't advocate, you know, somebody's floor getting ruined, but, you know, I would, first of all, if that happened to me, I would pay for it. Like, that's for sure. And that's exactly what Christopher is going to do. But, you know, to Carl's point, like, ultimately, you know, it turns out that Gigi does have some issues in regards to, like, you know, not being parented, like, with, you know, a strong enough sense of boundaries. And they are like completely like super old friends that like can talk to each other in ways that like normally people wouldn't be able to talk to. And so in that way, it kind of makes more sense to me, you know. But like my initial reaction was like, I wasn't crazy about how Lorelai was behaving. And I also feel like Lorelai was not coming from the perspective of somebody who like really was telling him this out of a sense of care for him and a desire for Gigi to be better. She was coming at it from a perspective of, I'm really frustrated about chocolate milk and Sharpies. And I want to just like vent on you right now.
Why did you let her have the
Well, I
turkey?
would have vented.
You let the 3-year-old have a turkey.
I was so confused on that, but that's.
I was about to say that.
Or
too.
markers.
Like, what is a 3-year-old doing with a
Washable
Sharpie?
markers. You only give a 3-year-old washable markers.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's the thing with Lorelai. I would never be in that situation because I know how to handle like a child like Gigi because it's literally my job. But you know,
I don't
Lorelai's
know who has young children, but there's now magic markers that are clear, except unless you use the right paper.
Oh,
That's-
they had that when
That's
my
what
kids were young. My son, when he first started learning when he was in school, in kindergarten, the first word that he learned how to write was the, and he decided to grace the entire house with the word the, but thankfully all he had to use were pencils.
Sherry, was that Brandon?
Of course it was.
To counteract my opinion on all of this, do you think, I think like with the whole marker thing, one, why, to speak to everyone's point, why the hell would you give a 3-year-old a permanent marker? 2, why wouldn't you put her at the table? Why would you put her on the floor? Because I don't know how easy it is to get marker off of wood, because I don't draw on the floor because I'm not 3. But I feel like it'd be a little bit easier, especially with Lorelai's table, to get it off a table rather than a floor. So why didn't she put Gigi at the table?
Put some newspaper down or something.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying is that
She's a great parent.
She's just, so she doesn't have any rules. Like, she's just like, okay, do what you want to. But although she kind of got away from her, and it just got chaotic. I mean,
yeah, I totally played devil's advocate there.
I mean, but yeah, it just went nuts. And so she didn't think it was going to like blow up in her face like it.
Well, she was probably too short to sit at the table. I'm sure that Lorelai's house isn't really, you know,
She's got lots of
kid-friendly
books. You can sit a
anymore.
kid on a couple books.
Oh,
She has
it's just
Iliad.
not kids. She doesn't know how to deal with kids like that. I mean, like everyone was saying, you know, Rory wasn't like that. And, I mean, my motto was always expect little, get little. And some people thought that was a little strict. But, you know, I think I would have had a hard time. I don't think I could have said anything to my family, or they would have never spoken to me again. But I think with a good friend, you know, in a nice way, I would have brought it up.
I would say that the reason why she was probably on the floor was because the TV's right there. She was probably home and watching television.
True.
Hey, folks.
Lee brought this up.
I wanted
Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to let you know I've made some folks moderators. I actually am going to have to jump. One of the first things I'm going to do is just go quickly look at some of the folks there who got into the post show and just make sure that you weren't overcharged. I'm pretty sure you were, but it will be fixed within like the next hour or so.
Thank you for
John, can I ask you a quick question before you go?
Yeah, sure.
Is this the most that we're going to talk about Gigi? Because I really don't care about Gigi. She's a
Yeah, let's not talk about her too much anymore.
I agree.
You don't say that to parents of young
That was very
kids.
funny.
Did
That
you
was
notice
very
the
fun.
age jump, John? I forgot. Did you say anything about how she
I
all
did
of a sudden
kind of.
told-
I wanted to say it, but then I was kind of like, is that? I mean, is that like necessary that I say that? But it did jump out to me. I was kind of like, man, she's really grown. But also like, I also sort of feel like time, like even just like the Logan sleeping with all of the bridesmaids thing, I was kind of like, man, how much time has passed? Like, I just really lose perspective sometimes on how many months pass between episodes in this show sometimes.
Yeah, because we watched Taylor. Yeah.
Rory was still in high school, and Rory's now in third year university.
Yeah, I mean, that's
So-
just crazy to me. Like, she's in third year university, and like I just remember like last week, didn't she graduate from Chilton?
Oh, this
feels like
For
it.
you, it was last week.
For us.
Well,
I
I
don't
would
know.
have made her about 3 then, right?
I
think
have one
It
question,
was
John.
87 years.
The drunk acting. What's your critique of that? Did I miss that earlier?
I'm not going to ever critique any of my fellow
No, I don't mean
actors.
like negative. I mean, did you think it was pretty awesome? Because I love that scene between Doyle.
Oh my god!
Oh my God.
I love that. That was so freaking funny. Like
Someone-
like that he like snuggled with her like and with his tongue. Like I mean, just like I was just like, oh my god. And then also when she walked off, she was like, can this day get any worse?
Him in that coat was the best.
So to reverse back a little bit to our former conversation, Lee brought up an interesting point because we've been talking about this. Lorelai also wasn't treating, this is her words, not mine. Lorelai also wasn't treating Gigi like a 3-year-old like should. And this all centers back to she only has Rory as a reference because Rory was the golden child and didn't really have any tyrants like Gigi has. And also to go on what Lee said, Gigi was obviously out of control and Lorelai should have been better prepared, not have like Candyship battle. And Social sounds like a very great game.
Here's something I'll tell you. This is funny because I've talked about this a lot since the beginning, how Lorelai has not really been one of my favorite characters on the series, that I don't really see, I don't really imagine that I would be friends with her in real life. But then what's funny is that today I do this test, the Gilmore Girls test, and I'm freaking Lorelai, like in the test.
Yeah, you are.
But that makes sense to me because, very often 2 personalities that are very alike sometimes just clash. They would, especially that kind of personality. And here's the funny thing is that I do have a friend who I full on told them how to raise their kid. Like I kind of critique their parenting skills, and the person rightfully let me have it.
Oh my god.
Like, let me have it. Because of this, because I understand that, and that might also be, coming from a place of I understand it myself, and this show is awesome because it allows you to sort of really look at that. I mean, it's a great show. All right. I'm heading
John,
out.
before you go, I have one more question. I was just wondering, you're so good at predictions. So do you think that Rory is going to hold a grudge, or do you think that she will forgive Logan?
I don't know anymore. This is crazy. I mean, because
you
I
said your
was
prediction
convinced,
changed.
because I was convinced that we were going to have the airport scene, that it was going to be like, it's just going to be a little while. I'm going to be in London for a little while, and that's it. The end of that relationship until the revival. And now I'm like, I really do not know. It's very possible that he goes to London because she's just like, no, I can't be with you. Like, I'm sorry, but I just can't do it. Like, I think at this point I would probably be a little disappointed in Rory if she went back to him. That's how I'm feeling right now. I know that for some of the like hardcore Team Logan fans, you probably don't love hearing me say that, but that's how I'm feeling right now. That could change. My opinions constantly are.
Hey, that's fair. Just because I like Logan doesn't mean I want her to end up with him forever.
Oh, makes sense.
Team Rory.
Team not weak Rory.
All right, everyone. This was a blast. Tonight was really, really fun. Thank you for watching with me and Devon, hanging out with Devon tonight. It was a good look. I think that she had fun.
It was so much fun.
Yeah,
I think she'll come.
did too, and I really think she'll come back.
I can sometimes like I can feel it. Like I can sometimes feel when the person is like it feels more interviewy and when it's more like they're a part of us, and she just felt like she was a part of us. So it was great.
Oh yeah. Are we getting guests on Friday?
I thought it was Thursday.
It's Thursday. Eris is going to be here. Eris is going to be here on Thursday.
I meant for somebody's nuptials. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Friday's a big episode for
Friday's a big episode.
Oh, I see what you're asking. I see what you're asking. Okay, let me see what I can do. Let me see if I can grease some wheels.
Wait, John. So you have a guest, Caesar, for Thursday's episode. Now, it just, as history shows, you do like the whole reservation thing, like whenever we have a guest, at least lately. Will you have a reservation for Thursday? Or is it just...
we're gonna have another Colonel Wall on Thursday, yep.
Is that up yet? Because I haven't seen it yet.
Not yet. Right now, that reservation system's really buggy, and like I have to really sit down and spend a lot of time on it. And right now, all my focus is on getting the spaces mechanic up so that you guys can start creating spaces. So that's all I'm thinking about. And right now, I'm just like working with like a really like buggy kind of shoddy reservation system. Eventually it needs to be strong enough that like you all can put up Colonel Walls for your events as well. So
it'll be up for Thursday.
But it will be up for Thursday. I'll probably put it up maybe tomorrow. I'll probably put it up tomorrow.
How early do you need to reserve? Like a day before?
It doesn't matter. It's all random. So like so I know Jessica, you reserve, but it's like the system will randomly pick the top people that fit into the couch, and then everybody else is on a waiting list. So I went down that list. If somebody had not shown, then I would have gone into the waiting list, right? Like, but everybody who was on the list raised their hand, and so none of the folks on the waiting list were able to get on. And I don't choose that list. The app like randomly shuffles everybody and gives me like a top 13 and gives me everybody else in the waiting list in an order.
It's still a really great app. I love it.
Oh, thanks. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow at 7. This was a blast. Thank you all.
Hey, John.
Have a good night.
Bye, John.
I'll see you. Yeah, have a great night, guys.
Thanks, John.